Is Monday giving you the blues? Let's turn that frown upside down. Because this is MailCall Monday Live. Coming at you with the new segment, new bit of formatting. We're going to have some fun. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. It has been a Monday of Mondays, and now it is time to unwind. How is everybody doing on this fine MailCall Monday? Man, it is a blistery 62 degrees down here in the Comic Man Andy Comic Cave Comic Dojo. So I'm all hooded up in a sweatshirt, trying to stay warm because it is freezing cold here. Let's see who is all coming in and hanging out tonight in the chat. We're running a little bit late, but stay tuned. Once we get through the segment, I'll have a special guest tonight. Comic book posers are going to come hang out for a little while, and we're going to talk about that new app out, Whatnot. Well, the app isn't necessarily new, but the fact that people are starting to do comic books on there. We're going to talk a little bit about Whatnot, and we're going to talk a little bit about selling comics and pops and other collectibles on Whatnot, so that should be a good time. Let's see who's all rolling in tonight. How's everybody hanging tonight? Paul Dunn, what's going on, man? Good to see you. House of L Comics, thanks for being here, man. Did not show up yet. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Speaking of packages, man, I'm going to jump right in to tonight's first segment. Oh, come on, mama. How's it going? Oh, there he is. We got to announce him correctly. Welcome, man. It's the great Herminio Reyes Jr.'s in the house. What's cracking, man? How is it going? Hopefully you're doing well. Happy Monday. Hopefully it was a happy Monday, right? Everybody's starting to roll in now. Come on, mama. How's it going? What's up, comic people? There's Paul Dunn. Hey-oh. Zuni, a little fist bump action for Monday. It's time to recharge those comic hunting batteries, so to speak, right? So we are actually getting back into the hosting a live show kind of a gig instead of just sitting down and hitting record or hitting go live. We're going to work on some segments. We're going to try some new things. So I'm going to open up tonight's segment right now. We're going to get into the main gist of it. And you know how to do it, right? Ooh, get ready. Buckle up, because this one's a big one. Welcome to Check Out Andy's Package.
I have a package for you.
And boy, did I ever get a package a little rough around the edges. We're going to get right into this, though. Let me get the old tool out. I'm pretty excited for this because if I remember correctly, this is a pretty big spec play for me. And I'm really interested. If you guys have seen what's been going on with Something's Killing the Children, I found a cover for number 16 that I fell in love with. And found a website where this was available and affordable. A lot of those covers were super expensive in sets, trade dress, virgin, whatever. You know, there's even a foil out there. Got a little paper action there. All right. So we got some bubble wrap in here, but the thing that kind of scared me is there's a bit of dead space in here. I'm a little worried about that. Little worried about that. That's it. There's not much in the way of packaging in there. Couple of Gemini mailers and a bunch of dead space. Yeeteth the boxes the hell over there, because you know what dead space equals? Dead space equals dead comics. So, I might be up the river here. These look like they're in good shape, but, you know, Oof. Dead Space equals dead comics. I say it every time. We're gonna get into these here right now. Yes, let's get somewhere to put them up here. I am digging Something's Killing Children like a lot of other people, and I was attempting to be a completionist collector for a hot minute there before they went crazy with the store variants and the exclusives, and I just couldn't keep up with it. So I think somewhere around issue 11 was like the last issue where I got absolutely everything. From 11 on, yeet. Just like my wallet, yeet my wallet right out the door when it comes to Something's Killing the Children. But I fell in love with this cover. So much so. Ooh. Was it the John Gallagher Something's Killing the Children number 16? I found this from Out of the Vault Comics in Canada, actually. And this cover, for me, was... I looked on the website. It was a low buy-in. Hopefully none of these are damaged. I really hope none of these are damaged. It was low buy-in. This is $15 per copy, which it was low for an exclusive, right? Limited to 1,000 copies. And this, you guys tell me if I'm wrong here. This screams Netflix movie poster. This screams some sort of material, social media material for Something's Killing the Children. Like this right here just has movie poster, show poster written all over it. Who knows if that's actually what's going to happen or come to fruition, but absolutely one of my favorites of the variants. And because it was so inexpensive, yeah, I ordered quite a few copies. I'm like, no joke. That was a big spec play for Something's Killing the Children for me because it was cheap. A lot of those variants, a lot of those sets, $20, $30, $40, $50. The price just keeps going up and up and up and up. And I'm like, you know what? This Gallagher variant, I really liked. I liked the way it looked. I liked the way it was laid out. I like the fact that, you know, how cool would a remark look on this thing? I mean, a remark and a signature would look great. And I did not at all slouch with the issues. I ordered plenty of them. The idea is to send a bunch to CGC. If any of these are going to be 9/8 candidates, those are going to CGC. A couple might end up in the SCEF auction for funsies. I know I've got some other Something's Killing the Children books that I'm going to put up in auction that this might, be a nice add-on. There's plenty of these, but I mean, it's just when you look at the Something's Killing the Children sets and they're like $70, $80 a set or $40 for a set, one cover for $15, I might as well just order a bunch of them because I know some of my friends are going to want some. I know I'm going to want to send some to CGC. And for me, this was probably my favorite cover that I could get a hold of at the time because obviously I slept on a lot of the stuff. I did not sleep on the nope. It's going to get the Jay Lee. Nope. It's going to kill me. There was one set out there that was the Frankie's Comics exclusive, and I forget who the artist was for it in the moment, but it's in my email right there. I know as soon as I look. That's the only set, and it's the only variant where there's a foil edition. So I made sure to order a couple of those. Those are still out there somewhere in the mailing system. God only knows where. They haven't made it in yet. So 10 copies of the Gallagher variant on a whim. I'm like, okay, issue 16, Origin of Erica Slaughter. This is a good minor key for that whole run. And at $15 for an exclusive for limited to 1,000 copies, it seemed like a really good buy. In Hyuk. Okay, thanks, Paul. In Hyuk Lee. Phone is cracked. Ooh. Whoops. Sorry to hear that, man. But seriously, that's a big spec play for me. 10 copies, $15 a copy. Maybe throw a couple in the auction to recoup some of that money, but a bunch are going to go to CGC, and maybe a couple end up in a giveaway or something like that. It's an excellent cover. Let's showcase that again really quick before I close out this segment of check out Andy's package, because that is very, very cool. And I don't know if these are my lights or what, but these are not the standard poly bags. These are super crisp and super clean. And they did a really good job packaging them in the Gemini mailers. They didn't look like they shifted at all. There was no big issues. And I'm going to have to go through each of the copies and see if there's anything that's damaged, because I say it all the time, dead space equals dead comic books. So when I get a box that shows up and I can shake it and stuff's moving around, I get really worried. So whenever I package up and ship any comics, there's never going to be any dead space in the boxes if I can prevent it. Hopefully, you know what I mean? Sometimes stuff shifts, but either way, let's just take one more look at this before we move on to one more package. This just screams movie poster to me. Or some sort of social media poster, show poster. I don't know. This is absolutely dope. We'll see where this goes. You know, it's the Netflix. Oh, God, Netflix? Ooh, yikes. Yeesh. Oh, God, yeah. Netflix has the first look deal, so they could potentially pass on this, too. You never know. And I just don't see Netflix doing anything with Something is Killing the Children. Wow. That other show that's out there with kids and monsters that everybody forgets about every year until about July. And then I'll be really excited about it when I see it again. But that show, until that show's done and gone, there's really no point for Netflix spending any money on something like Something is Killing the Children. So I don't know. That was a big spec play for me. We're going to move on to the next package. I'm going to roll the segment one more time for funsies, just so everybody rolling in can enjoy it. Here we are, part 2 of check out Andy's package.
I have a package for you.
It's so cringeworthy, terrible. I love it. The next package up is going to be that Simpleman's Comics bounty box. Just got this in Saturday. I'm looking forward to digging into this. There's supposed to be potentially a really cool Power Rangers negative space variant that's floating around in the bounty boxes. I'm not a huge Power Rangers fan, but I know a couple people that would love a copy. So I'm going to dip right into this. Oh, can I? I love getting these every month. John from 616 is killing it. He's got Megan Hutchinson on lock now, and there's another artist, if I remember correctly. So expect big things. Continue to expect big things from 616 Comics in the variants that they put out, which is why sticking with the Simpleman's Comics Bolo box for me is a no-brainer. Because, I mean, look at the Department of Truth Megan Hutchinson variant, the one of 500 Virgin variant that came out. That cover is absolutely dope. I landed one in a Bolo box, and I think raws of that are going for almost $200 now. It's hard to put a price on because usually you see them creeping around online, but I never catch it when they sell. Oop. And let's see just how much Brian's going to make me struggle to get this package open. Painter's tape as always. And I really, really love the fact I'm going to do a segment one of these days where I actually show people my packing method, because I've derived my packing method from Brian's packing method, because this is absolutely fantastic every time. These things are almost bulletproof. I've only ever had one package show up that looks like the mailman stomped on it. But either way, we'll hit up this chat in just one more quick minute. I'm hoping you guys are interested in hanging out and talking to Comic Book Poser tonight. Yeet. Comic Book Poser is going to hop on and hang out here in a little bit, and we're going to talk about selling comics and collectibles on that Whatnot app, because I'm pretty excited. I had heard about it, but until Brian and some other people and aka Mr. Bolo started talking about it, I had no idea that they were going to be doing comics on there. And this is what I really like. This Tyvek envelope seals everything from the elements very well, but can be painful to open. So I'm always holding the comic pack completely flat to the desk and then pulling that open. I don't dare take a razor blade to this either because that's just, those books are too close. There's that. Couple of announcements later tonight too, so stay tuned. And ooh, got the crossover Virgin variant. I believe this is the Megan Hutchinson. Very cool. Love that. That kind of minimalist colors. Very cool. Ooh, don't peek. Don't peek. Oh, I peeked. Ooh, book number 2. Oh, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 6. There we go. Believe this is the one floating around that the negative space variant. Super cool. I know a guy that might like that. Blue is my favorite color too. And book number 3. Ooh, hey, this is it's a lock and key variant, Sandman. Oh, I'm gonna have to dig into this. I know he gets a kick every time I have to dig into these, wondering what one is what. Yeah, lock and key number 1, the Sandman universe. Very cool. Oh, it's Megan Hutchinson. I should have known just by looking at it. Very, very cool. So that means, what do we got here? This one has a card in it. Last book. Oh, this is the black and white Megan Hutchinson of that same cover. So lock and key number 1. Hell and Gone from IDW Publishing. Cover artist Megan Hutchinson, 500 print run. So these 500 print run Megan Hutchinson books from 616 Comics have been performing really well on the secondary market. So I'm really excited to get this one. I'm going to have to add this to the CGC pile, send it to CGC in hopes of actually getting caught up. I'm excited. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Digging the Megan Hutchinson covers. Awesome. Awesome box, Brian. Very cool. Thank you so much. And hopefully I can get through that CGC box or go through actually getting these books sent out to CGC. I'm actually submitting a request for pressing and cleaning services once a month for 10 books. And I started last month. So I'm going to be doing that every month for the rest of 2021 in hopes of getting a package back from grading every month for almost a year. It's going to be quite the undertaking, but instead of sending 25, 45, 55 some odd books in one shot and doing a massive bill, I'm hoping to break it up a little bit and make it more affordable for my collection and my budget so that I can actually get some of these books pressed, cleaned out, and back without spending thousands of dollars in one shot or having to save up for that big monster of a bill. So let's hit up this chat. I know I've been rambling for almost 20 minutes already. Who's still here hanging out? Let me scroll back a ways here. Big Herm Collectibles is here. Zuni, man, good to see you. Come on, Mama is still here. Hey, Aggressively Relaxing. What's good, man? Welcome. Welcome to the Comic Man 80 Comic Cave Comic Dojo for the Monday Night Mail Call Live. Gallagher is fantastic. I was probably have a bunch of Gallagher stuff. I just never really thought about it, never connected to the name of the covers. I am searching for more and more Gallagher stuff. The Gallagher stuff is very cool. I'm really digging that art style. Hey, Mom, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I will call you tomorrow on my way home from work. The Watermelon Crushing guy started doing art. Not quite. Was it John Gallagher, I think? Or am I pronouncing it wrong? It could be. I could be remembering the name completely wrong. Hey, I do love foil. What's good, man? Dale of Suspense, thanks for being here. Good to see you. And Inhyuk Lee, phone is cracked. Inhyuk Lee. Is that the Inhyuk Lee? I've got to ask myself that question real quick as I get my email to load up. No, it's Ji-Hung Lee, or it's Ji-Hung. Yes, there it is. Ji-Hung Lee had that variant set from Frankie's Comics exclusive, but you could also get it from the Ji-Hung Lee website. That is the only foil variant for Something's Killing the Children 16. So I gambled and bought several sets because I love foil, and I definitely want to send some to CGC and get a 9.8 for the collection. So I'm looking forward to those coming in. They haven't been shipped out, but I did get a shipping notice that the label was created. So we'll see when that gets here. What's up, Big Herm? Who else we got here hanging out? Gotta love Ace. It's just seemed like a logical choice for a comedy kind of chop up intro for a check out Andy's package, because they usually get smashed and somehow the comics survive. Stop man, what's good? Good to see you. Thanks for being here, man. Happy Mail Call Monday. Absolutely. House of L Comics got a Sandman set as well. House of L is also a Patreon member of the Simpleman's Comics Patreon group. So he got that set. That is very cool. That set is going to go in the box of comics that I want to send to CGC here. Grab the Basilisk 160 or the 616. I wish I would have, but it's kind of one of those things where I've got to not buy more than I can handle in every week or every month, because I'm literally... You guys should see this back over here. There's short boxes everywhere and there's stuff everywhere. I'm about a month behind sorting and organizing. It's just nuts. Oop, there we go. Tankers 2 covers pretty sweet, I thought. Interesting. So bad idea may not have been the greatest idea. Ooh, I'll have more of an announcement on that here in just a little bit. One Shot Comics, thanks for being here. Good to see you. I think it is the Megan Hutchinsons are great. And that Gallagher, issue 16, Something's Killing the Children, is one of my favorites. I just can't afford to get all of the covers. And what was funny was, when you kind of speculate to build your collection and buy comic books, you're like, yeah, this is what I love, or this is what I want to get, or this is what and it just, buy what you love and you'll always love what you buy, right? So I am always going to love these, whether or not they become a $20 or $30 variant or $40 variant. But the funny thing is the one variant that was out there that had them all sitting on the table that was the wraparound cover. And I'm like, that's kind of neat, but I don't really know if I can see that going too far. That's probably the most expensive one out of there. I don't know if it's due to the limited availability of that, but at any given time, you can only see one side of the cover or the back side of the cover. And it's like, I don't know. It's just something about wraparound covers that I do enjoy them on some of the earlier X-Men stuff of the 90s, but modern comics now with wraparound covers, the artists are doing so many amazing things with the covers and they're just massive. Like I'd have to buy a comic, rip it apart, and just display the whole front and back spread out to enjoy it. That's what she said. Either way, the Gallagher variant for issue 16 just screams some sort of social media campaign or poster for Something's Killing the Children. I don't know if I'll ever be right, but this is definitely something I want to get a bunch of those graded, hopefully get 9/8, because we all know the Boom Studios covers. Boom Studios killing it with the cover material, and the covers are they're in really good shape a lot of the times. I'm still rolling back down the line here. Vincent McLean, the Comic Machine. What is good, man? I pushed back a little bit tonight because I knew you weren't going to go live at 9. Next Monday, I'm going to be hopping over to your stream if I see you going live there as well. Welcome back, Vincent. Absolutely free energy. Hey, thanks for being here, present. Good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by for Monday Mail Call. We'll continue getting through this chat here in just a minute. Who else we got here hanging out? Yes, absolutely loving the Megan Hutchinson covers. I really am. Surprisingly, I didn't know Megan Hutchinson that well as an artist. 2-3 years ago. It was just now, just been the last couple of years. It's like, yeah, I'm really interested in her as an artist with a lot of her covers, and I'm collecting more and more of that stuff. Crossover 1, Gallagher. Ooh. Wait a second. Did I get the artist mixed up? That crossover 1, was that crossover? You're telling me that crossover 1 has a Gallagher variant. Ooh, I better look into that. Who else we got here hanging out? Oh, man. It just jumped on me. Piston fan in Indy. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Happy Mail Call Monday. House of Elcom. You order the Frankies also. I used to order from Frankie's, but the last 2 packages I got from Frankie's were wrong. So just haven't been interested in ordering from Frankie's since then. I'm going to plug this here, but Monday Night Jibber Jabber is back at 8:05 tonight. Are you serious? Tonight? It's back. Oh, snap. Awesome. Very cool. I'll try not to run long. As soon as Comic Book Poser shows up, we're going to talk a little bit about Whatnot and buying and selling on Whatnot here, because I've got some questions and he's got some experience, so he might have some answers. Absolutely. Buy what you love and can afford. Yeah, something's killing my wallet lately. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, at the end of the day, buy what you love and you'll always love what you buy. You really will. You can't go wrong building your collection around that. Seawater 19, talking about building collections. This is the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to digging through bins and finding killer books. Absolutely. Thanks for being here, man. Stoutman says, yeah, buy what you love, but you can't afford. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what the cleared boards are for. I get it. The cleared boards are for that, but just not my thing. But I can see it being something very cool. If you can find a way to spin them from the ceiling like a disco ball, something like that. I don't know. Absolutely. You picked up the full Samurai Jack run by Boom Studios, the only book no one is specking on. Interesting. Look into that. That's probably a pretty good read. So those are the two packages. Comic Book Poser should be showing up here in just a couple more minutes. So we're going to do a couple announcements that I'm really excited for starting tomorrow. Yes, we will answer this question right now, actually. Print runs on different titles or for different titles. When it comes to modern exclusives, a lot of the companies doing the exclusives will divulge their print runs. Some will not. But then when you talk about printings of a book, use Comic-Con, comiccron.com. And if I can look that up here in just a jiff and find out the correct spelling for you, you can actually get year-over-year sales and month-to-month sales. Yep. Comic hron.com, and you can actually look up printing numbers for books over all of the years that I think they go back quite a ways, actually. They go back as far as, oops, no, I missed it. 1969, maybe? Postal statements, industry-wide reports. Dig into it. It's going to be a useful tool looking up for print runs. The thing is, modern books don't show up on there anytime soon, right? So that's why a lot of the store variants and whatnot, they divulge their print numbers, or limited to numbers and or print runs. Either way, yes. In a nutshell, really quickly, comiccron.com is what I use for a lot of the stuff going back to the past. But modern stuff, it's going to be social media. It's going to be the sellers' websites or the comic shop websites to let you know what they're doing with those titles and how many they're ordering or how many they're creating. You can also find out from like Marvel and DC have minimum numbers. I think Image and the indie titles do have minimum numbers as well. I think like Boom, that's why Boom Studios, you're finding like limited runs of 100 copies of this or 200 copies of that or 300 copies of that. Is Boom's allowing that. You go to the big two like Marvel or DC, it's thousands of books that at a minimum that you have to do for variants or something like that. So, two big announcements really quick here while everybody's still hanging out and we're waiting for Comic Book Poser to show up here is tomorrow. This is going to be really fun on the Simpleman's Comics channel. There's a new weekly live show starting called Comic News Weekly being run by Brian of Simpleman's Comics. And there's going to be a number of Patreon members and a number of other community members on there. And it's going to be a very cool around the horn weekly news show. I think he's going to keep it to 45 minutes to an hour, and then some or some other content will be chopped out of that. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a really good time. I'm looking forward to that. That's at 9 p.m. on Simpleman's Comics YouTube channel. And we're starting right at 9. Should be done about 10, I think. That'd be a lot of fun there. Let's see what's going else. What else going on? Hey, yes, other announcements. We're on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. So I am putting together that video for that big giveaway because we are calling that what? Everybody in the chat, what are we calling it? We're calling it the Slabaganza giveaway. Say it with me. The Slabaganza giveaway. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. This train just keeps on rolling. People keep on showing up. So for anybody that's not aware of it or doesn't know yet, it is coming up soon. So hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping some content, because we are going to be doing that Slabaganza giveaway coming up soon. You're not going to want to miss that video. It's going to be one of those videos that hits. It's going to be 10 or so minutes, maybe even less. And you're going to watch that video and it's going to tell you how to enter. And then when the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, we're going to do the big celebration hangout giveaway where a bunch of people in the community are going to come hang out, and we're going to spin the wheel or do a comment selector. We're going to hand out a stack of slabs, and that's going to be That's going to be a massive epic time, because do any of you guys know how long it takes to give away slabs live like that? To give away 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 slabs, it's going to take a couple hours. So that's going to be a pretty epic hangout. I'm looking forward to that. The Slab-A-Ganza giveaway, it's got a ring to it, right? Ooh. So rolling into the last segment tonight really quickly is I want to talk about Whatnot, that app called Whatnot. I saw an episode on Simpleman's Comics YouTube channel talking about Whatnot and buying and selling pops and other things on Whatnot. Come to find out, I remember several months ago, Comic Book Poser talking about selling comic books and pops on this new app called Whatnot. And at first, when somebody says app, it doesn't really click in my head whether it's new or not. I spend all day on this thing. I'm usually looking for a lot of reasons to get away from it. So for an app on my phone means I've got to look into that, and it didn't click in my head right away. And then just the other day, I was watching a video of an interview where Chancellor from Whatnot, he's running the comic section of Whatnot, pops on, and I believe he was talking to, maybe it was in the second video Brian did. He did an interview, Simpleman's Comics and Friends. He did an interview with Chancellor, and Chancellor talked about how Whatnot will have the ability to stream live auctions to your YouTube channel and to your Twitch channel. And I'm like, oh, now we're talking, because that means that if I decide to sell on Whatnot and I can stream it to my YouTube channel and to my Twitch channel, then I can sit here and set up with my phone and start running comic books and selling them on Whatnot. But then everybody else can come hang out. The whole community can come out, hang out, and talk about it. I got to look deeper into Comic Book Poser's YouTube channel and see if he's been trying that yet, or if that's something that's coming up but not available yet. I really got to look into that. Yes, I agree with X11 Bravo here. That was an awesome interview Brian did with Chancellor, and I actually was in contact with Chancellor today on Instagram, and I'm going to work to schedule some time to hang out and talk with him about selling on Whatnot, just getting myself set up. And if he's okay with it, I'm probably going to record it and drop that as some content as well, because I'm sure there's plenty of other people out here that would like to be a part of Whatnot that would be interested on selling. I mean, they got sports cards, they've got pops, they got collectibles. Like I saw, I think jerseys and other stuff like that. And when it comes to comic books, I'm seeing some sellers on there, but there's not a ton yet. Yeah, that'd be very cool. I would do that. And I'm already on Whatnot right now. If you're on Whatnot or anybody here is watching and that's on Whatnot, it's search Comic Man Andy. When I put Comic Man Andy on there, just my normal screen name, Comic Man Andy, it added underscores, the comic underscore man underscore Andy. So you either search Comic Man Andy is all one word, or search comic underscore man underscore Andy, and you'll find me there. And we'll see if Comic Book Poser is going to be available here in a couple of minutes, because I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. My understanding is literally you get a stand for your phone, set up your phone, get the view set up that you want to set up, and you just start running stuff right through there on a live auction. And it's very well set up. I was watching one tonight. I forget the gentleman's name that was doing it, but he was running a live auction with single key issues. But then I had hit a little sales tag button on the bottom right-hand corner, and it brings up a list of everything that they have for sale during that live auction, aside, not just the live auction items, but the actual items that they have for sale there on Whatnot as well. Like, that's pretty cool that a seller can list all those items and have them kind of from a touch of a button, have that available to you while they're doing the individual live auction items. Speaking of Whatnot and speaking of Comic Book Poser, here he is. What it do, man? How are you? Welcome back.
Good. I fell asleep on my daughter's bed because she was cuddled up into me in that slow breathing. Oh, she got me good.
Oh yeah, that'll happen, man. That happened to me actually yesterday. It's quiet. It's quiet time, buddy.
But it comes out of nowhere, and it's like, I got to be productive. I have chores to do. I have stuff to edit. I have videos to record. It's that time.
I know, right? It's quiet time in the house. Lay down and watch cartoons, buddy. I mean, he's at that age now where he won't nap anymore. So it's like, at least just be quiet. And I see him laying there. All right, buddy, here I come. Sit down. Next thing you know, I'm out. I'm out. Done for. But dude, I can't thank you enough for your time. We'll make this about 20, 25 minutes. I'm just really interested to hear your
Yeah.
experiences when it comes to selling on Whatnot. Cause like I was telling these guys earlier, I remember hearing you say a couple of months ago about you were going to get into it and how cool it was. And you were really enjoying what you were seeing.
Yeah.
And they really perked up my ears when I heard now that there's the potential ability to be able to stream your Whatnot live auction to your YouTube channel and your Twitch channel.
Yeah, I think that will be kind of cool. So, first, hi, Bravo. I see you saying what's up in the chat. Um, so as someone who buys a lot of pops and stuff, in addition to all the comics that I read, a lot of the pop-oriented channels that I follow or I'm patrons of have done Whatnot auctions. So I'd go watch, I'd go check them out, I'd go support things, and then watching as that platform has grown from pops to doing card breaks, it is fast paced, it is crazy. Even if it's, one or two people huddled around a phone, it's super interactive. That, I love the YouTube auctions that, I host, or, that a bunch of people have got running. That it's good to have something that's slow paced with being super meticulous with books, especially things that are, on the higher priced end. But when I was approached by Chancellor about selling on Whatnot, I instantly jumped at the opportunity because I've seen how quickly things have grown from starting with just them authenticating pops as kind of the midpoint of the exchange to now, it's got the same kind of pull to it. That go check out one of the people who are breaking like alpha Pokemon packs, and those auctions will have thousands of people watching them, and you will watch a single pack of cards go for, $2,500 to $3,000 in a matter of 90 seconds. Like, it's the live version of the last, 30 seconds of an eBay auction where the bots are going to fight. But with the people, and it's just very entertaining to watch it flesh its way out that way.
Yeah, I watched my first live one tonight, and this guy dropped a Venom Lethal Protector #1 and went over it and showed it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I remember, man, I hope he does well. It's like Venom Lethal Protector. I was buying copies of that out of $5 bins a couple of seasons ago, and it used to be a dollar bin book for a long while,
Mm-hmm.
way back when. It's just a high print run. I saw that book shoot up to like 50 some odd bucks in just a couple of minutes, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
And it's fast paced and it's exhilarating to see. It's not just like, I don't know. I really like the auction game and the auction scene that the comic book community has going on YouTube, and it's great because you get so much variety of people
Mm-hmm.
and what they bring to the table. But Whatnot brings a level of excitement that I don't think I could ever bring when it comes to a YouTube live auction.
Yeah. And it's like I heard you saying as I was logging in, people will promote the kind of stuff that they've got on Instagram leading into a YouTube auction, but I love having that queue where it sucks how long it takes. Like, I did a pop auction on Saturday night, and since their database of pops is so big, I could just type in the first two letters of a pop and it would, pop up, and I could just click a button and it'd be set. But I like that I can go in and be as descriptive as I need to, that people can um, start requesting things. So instead of people like Bravo was in my auction all night last night, and it was one of the slowest nights we've had in a while. And it was either here or Battle Panda that said, like, people might be waiting to see what that big thing is to throw their money at. Whatnot, you have that excitement the whole night through because people will come in and request something. They'll ask you to put it in the order. So you're constantly, dealing out hits to the people that they want. And the community over there, like, there's a lot of, in the Venn diagram of people on YouTube and Instagram and people who are on Whatnot, but there are also people who are just exclusively there buying things that have been introduced to us and vice versa. Um, so seeing like the number of books that I would have taken a loss on at value have probably been canceled out by like the $50 Venom Lethal Protector uh shooting way up. So it's good that everybody's there to get a deal, but also watching to make sure like the seller gets taken care of, where it's like, yep, I got pantsed on this one, but holy crap, this $10 book went for 15-25 bucks. Okay, I'll chalk that up as a win. And I mean, the other thing that I really like about it, I think as we all do, hate packing and shipping things. Uh, like, I'll take meticulous notes when I sell on my end. I'll put sticky notes all over everything,
Yup.
but I'm always terrified that I put something in the wrong box. I forget something. So I like that at the end of the auction, I can go in and click two buttons and it will print off every single packing slip and label all in one shot, that I can then go, okay, I got these things right, check, I got these things right, check. That it's that makes my life easier. And my wife, who, is supportive of what I do, especially because it's gotten, we took 75, 80 boxes to the post office today between the two of us, that she's super supportive because, as she eloquently frames it, it's getting shit out of the basement. But that's easy for her because now she can look at my pile, she can double check the packing slip, and she's like, on days where you're super intense, teach me how meticulously to pack a comic, and I'm in. Um, so it's nice that, doing all of this, it's not just me freaking out in my world, that she's at least getting into it that way, that she does stuff on Etsy, that we are both meticulous alpha personalities, that she's an active alpha and I'm a very passive aggressive alpha. So it's nice that we've both been able to support each other on that end, from helping pack and get into that kind of stuff.
Dude, I'm really excited because I'm still gonna every 3 weeks the auctions that Skeff's doing. We have such a blast with the three,
Mm-hmm.
4, 5 of us that hang out on that. That's a ton of fun. That's always it seems to have a pretty good turnout. We had our first ever non-paying bidders sweep through and steamroll, and a bunch of people left. And I
Yeah.
think I learned my lesson, because the last two auctions was like, yeah, you guys just square up with me at the end and we'll figure it out. And everybody, I was blessed with some of the best comic book community members coming out to buy stuff, that this third one comes up and somebody steamrolled us, and at least me bid up all of my stuff and then didn't pay on anything. And I'm like, well, I still have the books, but
Yeah.
I realized that really hurt the experience for a lot of the other people that were there hanging out too.
And that's one of the things that Whatnot is good at. Like, uh is it nice that if the people who auction on a frequent basis, that they can hold my books and build a box for me to save on shipping? Yeah, that's amazing. But it's hard to deal with the troll bidders, that some people are more meticulous than others. I know that, like, Meta in his auctions, before you can bid, you've got to send, a email, so he's got your contact information, but that may deter the extra effort from people blowing in and bidding up. But I think the good thing about how tight knit this community has been, especially as we've grown more codependent on one another during COVID. Like, everybody knows somebody. So, like, if someone pops in, we're like, hey, we're going to wait and see. Like, you can bid, but we're going to see if someone can vouch for you. Like, someone will know someone. Like, you could pop in my auction, be like, no, they're legit. And I'll be like, okay. And that's a good way that we can protect each other. But in
Yep.
whatnot, like, it's instantaneously tied to your PayPal or your credit card. I get a message on the screen that's like, yep, the payment is cleared. And then I can just put a check mark and move on. And if by the end of the auction it hasn't cleared, I can log into the seller portal on my computer and be like, well, it didn't go. We can rerun it again.
Okay, so there is a portal that you can access on your PC.
Uh, yes, but that's where you can do, um, like, that's mostly the back end kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. See, that's one of the things that I kind of feared was having to do everything from my phone because I fat finger everything and I
yeah,
can't stand like the.
and oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, just sitting and watching the auction from my phone, I was surprised at how well it's laid out and how
Mhm.
user friendly it is. So I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm getting too much of that old man get off my lawn syndrome starting now,
Yeah,
where it's like new technology. I could get where my parents were at when I was a kid and how they didn't want to adopt things because I'm kind of like
yeah,
so phones and new apps. I just need to do a better job staying up on these things because they did a really good job with the layout,
yeah,
how user friendly it is to navigate on there during a live auction. And then I got thinking to myself, I'm like, man, how do you handle everything else? And you just answered it. A
yeah.
portal, a seller portal right at the end is like, oh boy, that makes it really nice then.
And one of the things, like, one of the changes that they've done recently is we're all, everybody is always terrified about getting the wrong weight or the wrong dimensions on the printing off your own packing stuff. Yeah. But like, they created this thing where instead of their stock weights of assuming what everything is, like, if I send a single Funko Pop in a like 6x6x8 box, it should weigh 11 ounces. Here, I can now go set up I just have a profile that's called Gemini Mailer. So the first person somebody buys a single comic, it knows that it's going to go in a Gemini, which is roughly what, like 1 pound, 3 ounces with all of that. And then every time they buy another book, it stacks into that. And then I know that if someone bought, once they get to like their ninth book or their 10th book, and you're like, oh, do I need to pack bigger to save it? Then those are the things that you can track on the portal, um, and then go manually change the weight. So instead of manually weighing and measuring every single package you send out, uh, if you do the right level of clerical work on the front end, then on the back end, it's
Saves
it's
you
a
a ton of
lot
time.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another great question. House of L, can you list something or is it just for live show? And you can do both, can't you?
Yeah. So all of my auctions, it's been comics and I learned at my first auction in the same way where we all get excited about the first time we sell or we first do something. Everybody will come out of the woodwork to show support. So, like, I had Pops, I had Bunko Soda mystery boxes, and then I had a bunch of comics. That first auction, everything went because the people that I've made connections with on, any side of the collector community came to buy the thing that they were into and to show that support, right? And then they dipped. Uh, my second and third auction, like, I still had Pops and sodas listed, but there's an option when you set up a show, like, you have to tie yourself to one of the hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can go through all of the different options at the bottom, on the app. So, like, here's my show for Thursday. Let's see if that works. So
Oh,
those
wow.
are all the different hashtags that you can put up. So it's comic books, Dragon Ball, Marvel cards, video games. And the downside is you can only pick one category. So the will get pushed to people who are looking for just the comic shows that they can come in, click that comic book, filter at the top of the app, and see me. So people who are looking for their other things um, may not come to any random live show.
Yeah.
In terms of the other part of your question, House of L, this also functionally works like Mercari, where I can list individual things. So I can take some of my pops, my cards, and list them there. They are not yet, they don't have that marketplace yet for comics, but it's something that they are working on, that they just have to get that coding in. And it's one of the things that I know that they're working on, that you've seen a lot of people pop in. And I think it's been more successful than they initially thought it would be.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Because
just that live one tonight had over 50 people watching it in the first 5 minutes, and they held
yeah,
that for the 20 minutes that I was watching it.
yeah. And I mean, I think sorry, I've got a headphone that's dying. You can see that kind of ebb and flow come in. So it's nice that it will, instead of us having to use 1,000 different apps to track all the stuff we're into, that if it can all be in one spot, that will be super nice. And I know that we all like putting things up on Instagram, right? That we like that more direct sale because there's not the middleman taking out, small little percentages here or there. But for as critical as people have been about eBay, especially in the last 6 months, as they've kind of hiked up the fees and decreased their like seller protections, where they're pretty good is they will do a lot to protect both the buyer and the seller, right? There's
Mhm.
no chance of any of the drama that we may have seen on Instagram about some comic books and some people firing shots the past couple of days, right? Like, once somebody buys a book, the money goes and sits with them until the book is delivered, and then it's delivery plus 48 hours until the payment processes. So
Mhm.
there are things that will protect the buyer from somebody disappearing with a book. There will be things that protect the seller if people are critical of um, not getting what they think they bought or they paid for. Like, there's a good referee in there, and their fellow collectors who can help referee that kind of stuff. The other thing that I think is good is not, now I forgot what I was going to say there because I was reading the chat and my brain went. But I like that they've got that built-in protection. Oh yeah, and their fees. Because I've sold stuff on eBay. It's weird now how eBay kind of went from it takes its cut from each sale to now they send you the bill at the end of the month. Um, I think Mercari, when all is said and done, is floating around 12% fees. Whatnot is 8%, and then the 2% processing fee from PayPal, that 2.9% plus 30 cents. So I'm okay giving, if they're going to invite me onto their platform and give me the stage to sell to an audience that they've already built, then I'm okay them taking that little piece of the pie because of some of the other things that make my life as a seller so much easier. That and their support staff is amazing. They have a Discord that is for all of the sellers. So if there's something where, like, I was having an issue getting some of my labels to print one day, and somebody was like, yeah, sometimes there's a hiccup even if you clear your browser cache. So open the file in incognito mode, right? Boom, business went on. Or if you have problem, like any kind of technical problem, if the stream goes down, like, there are people around the clock who in a matter of seconds, if it's a small problem, can get it fixed. And I think that's something that nobody else really has the ability to offer. So I think seeing how they've built up their niche markets around each kind of collectible. And then once they realize that we're all the same kind of weird, right? That very few people are into just one thing,
Yeah.
that it's going to help. It's going to be better for everybody because I'm going to hunt around and see what kinds of things I can find. Bravo noted that it's just like Instagram, that you can follow not just people, you can follow items.
Yep.
So I wanted just a plain regular He-Man Funko soda. I didn't care about a chase. I didn't care if it was still sealed. Uh, I wanted to not have to pay like the $50 on eBay to get it. The moment somebody posted one and it was $15 because they were like, "Yep, got two, only need one," I was like, "Cha-ching!" That it helps you. Is the hunt fun? Yes. Are there some items that are just harder to find and we want to be able to cheat? Yes. So if I can focus my money, my resources, my luck on some of the bigger things, and I can use that to help chip away at some of the, mini personal grails or just little bits of Rosie O'Donnell toys for my desk,
Hmm.
to one, then I like that it really is all inclusive.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up eBay and we look at that, talk about the fees and where they're at with that, and it's like it's fee mania across a lot of different boards. But the difference here is eBay is going to take those cuts, but they're not going to work to drive people towards your item. Really,
Yeah.
Whatnot is driving a thriving community and expanding on that. And people are being driven to your items via hashtags and searches and a lot of these other things.
Yeah.
Whereas on eBay, they're taking the cut no matter what, no matter who's out there. Like, I don't know. I'm really excited to dip into this and get set up and work on Whatnot and try it out for a couple of rounds because I love collecting comic books. I love buying a ton of comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 60% of the comic books I buy, though, don't end up staying in my PC. Well, I'm sure there's a ton of other people that would like those books in their PC for a really good deal or a rate because we're always buying in bulk, right?
Yeah, and we all go through that thought process of like, you know what, I might end up collecting this. It
Yep.
comes and it sits in Box Mountain for a month. You put it in a short box to go, yeah, I'll get to this eventually. And then you're like, ah, crap, I'm out of space. And you just start pulling things out of short boxes. Like, why the hell did I buy this? What's this? That it's good. Like, I've sold a couple of PC things that I wanted to hold on to because my evil reptilian capitalist brain saw dollar signs, and I was like, I'm going to cash in my extra Department of Truth #1 secret variant. Okay, thank you. And then the moment that it's gone, I'm like, I need to buy another one of those.
Yeah.
And to do that, I'm going to have to buy a bigger lot of Department of Truth books just to get that one book, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
So it's a good way that, the joke that everybody makes is, on YouTube auctions, on Instagram sales, we'll give you the friends and family discount because we're trading on our name, right? That you're going to know who this item came from and critique me. If I want to go rip off strangers, then I'll go to eBay, right? That I have no problem setting it for a price. And once the right person clicks on it, I cash in. But whatnot, the people who are selling on there have all been super supportive. Like, I've been checking out other comic book folks' auction, and I'll pop in and buy a book here or there, just like, I'm going to show support, some solidarity. And everybody is doing the same kind of thing. Like, as long as we're not on top of each other, people are popping in to show that kind of support just to keep things growing. So I think that's also been good to kind of watch it play its way out. And I think as the number of sellers increase, you're going to have people who just hop around auctions based on what's in that queue.
Yep.
And I don't think that that's a big problem, right? Because here on YouTube, right, we're worried about number of views and watch hours and all of that stuff. On Whatnot, right, as long as the right people are popping in and out, seeing the items that they want, requesting things, then we can have, that good interaction, those good conversations. But at the end of the day, it's simpler and more pleasant business exchanges because people are getting what they want. And if you send it to them in the condition you promised, they're super happy, and the collectible machine, the capitalist machine, the wheels keep on turning. And, it's an easier way to, you know, get rid of the stuff that, you bought in bulk, or you're like, nope, don't want to collect this anymore. And even if you're like, I don't care how much this sells for, like, the hive mind of the chat will be there to bid to make sure you at least get, your fair due or within percentage points of, what you paid for it or what it's valued at. That it's very cool that way.
Yeah.
Um,
That community aspect is what eBay's been missing all of these years.
yeah,
So you get a driving factor of the sellers. People know you, people see you, they hear you, just like this, just like on YouTube. So sellers are building their brands. They're looking for repeat customers and repeat family members and community members. And a lot of the people know people from YouTube and from other social media platforms. So it's like the barrier's down.
yeah.
It's time to perform as a seller and as a buyer. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the way that, a bunch of people have gone through, like, to help cross the streams, like, I've got all of my little bits of channel merchy stuff that,
Never cross the streams.
when
Never cross the streams.
Vistaprint, until you need to, until you toast that marshmallow. But, like, every box that goes out just has a little thank you card, but it also has, my website and my YouTube channel. I've varied between what I've got more left over of. So I've got some bookmarks, but, like, I'll send stickers, I'll send pins, I'll send the same kind of stuff to strangers who might interact with me for one time on Whatnot, and never swing back in again, in the same way that if we were to send each other something, we would give that, those little extra touches, some little extra swag. I've
Yep.
had people who have bought things in all three auctions, and I've started sliding, little bits of extra once I've gotten to see and know those people, um, to kind of pay it back, or, pay it back, pay it forward, either way, um,
This
to
is a great
kind of
question.
see it grow.
I don't believe you have to list everything in advance. Just the stuff that you want to sell on there. The auction stuff, I don't think you have to list in advance, do you?
It makes your life easier if you do. So they sent out their initial wave to comic sellers, and they were like, you could just put in DC lot A, DC lot B, Indie lot, Spider-Man lot, and be nondescript. I decided to go the route of, the more information that's in there, the better the chance I may have of hooking people to sell some things. So in your auction, when you put items in, you can either put it in as an auction item or you can set it as a buy it now price. So like I've logged in at the beginning of my auction and half of my, $5 books, $10 books are gone because people have gone in, seen what they want and left. But I'll sit here with a notepad and the chat will come by and say, hey, can I see this book? Hey, can you throw it in the queue? So, I've got my input and my output piles where it's like, here's the order in which they want it. You know that people are watching auctions because you can see who's coming in and out. So, that if somebody hears you say this book is 4 or 5, down in the pile, that they've got 5 minutes where they can scoot over somewhere else and then pop back in. So I think one of the reasons why I've been able to sell a bit more probably than I should is that my anal retentive Excel spreadsheet side goes, I want to put as much in here as I can, because there are auctions where I'm just kind of looking at where I want to kind of listen to for a night or check something out while I'm doing the dishes or whatnot. That if I see that they've got a couple of items listed that I want, then I know that I want to focus on this one first, this one second, right? It's not the dueling live streams on YouTube where I know I can watch one and then go catch the other one on the rewind. That if I want the opportunity to pick something up, then I have to balance, the economics of my time to try and get that. So I've tried to have as diverse of offerings as I can. One of the things that I do, House of L, is I always know what like 4 or 5 books that I want to start with, and they're going to be safer books, right? Things that if it goes for $1, $3, $5, that's probably about what it's worth. That I'm starting things with, a nice simple appetizer until people start popping in and making those requests. And I've really found that the more prepared you are and the more organized you are, the better, because, it is a sprinting marathon to keep up with those minute auctions. Like I saw somebody made the comment earlier that it's up to the seller as to whether or not they allow that sniping at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people who use that strategically, where they'll be like, this is an auction with no sudden death, so you'll see big bids fly up quickly. But I also like that protection of the, if somebody bids in the last 10 seconds, it adds 10 seconds to the clock.
I saw
So you
that.
can kind of watch that battle go down, that it keeps that pacing. It gives some drama to it, that is also kind of entertaining, right? Like last night I enjoyed, Bravo and Panda as well as Jiho were commentating what was happening as people were bidding on books. And you've started seeing that trend of YouTube auctions where the chat is now kind of offering their 2 cents on the bidding strategy. So it's fun to watch that play out in a shorter amount of time. I've also liked that, the people in attendance will give you a second to breathe. Like I know if I need to go to the bathroom or step away for a couple of seconds on Sunday nights, that someone else will call out bids until I can get back here. But there have been nights where it's like, okay, I've been sitting here for 90 minutes. I'm about to pee my pants. I'm going to put up this dollar book for 2.5 minutes. You're going to listen to whatever terrible emo music is coming from my computer, and I'll be right back, right? And people have been receptive to those moments of dead air time because, I put so much work on the front end of trying to be as engaging as possible, to keep people hooked, right? I love that I can play whatever trash music I want to because I don't have to worry about a stream getting reported or a bot going, I know that song and you don't have the right. So I have like a 20-hour long playlist of all of the terrible music that I subject myself, my family, my students to. um, is good. And one of the things that's also helped, that Bravo just kind of points out is, uh, one of the things that everybody does on their auctions on YouTube is some kind of giveaway at the end, right? That you are incentivizing people to get in. I've done giveaways at the end of each of my auctions, right? That I see that 616 Simple Man's lock and key behind you, that sexy black and white baby. So I've taken a book from either Simple Man's, I can't remember what the new box is. It's
The
not the
bounty
Solo
box.
the bounty box, right? That I'll grab one of those incentives that people will know, the value of this has gone from, did you luck in and log in at the right time and pick it up for $19, or are you trying to pick it up for $60 now, right? So I'll grab one of those variants that I'm not interested in and put it up and go, everybody who buys something tonight, you go on the wheel. Boom. That's been something else that incentivizes people to pick up something small, because we all know that our chances of winning the lottery are astronomically low, but that doesn't stop us from playing it. So
Yeah.
if I want a chance at, like I gave away the Zerty Miracle Molly variant that was from one of those two boxes, that was like, I really, really, really want to keep this book, but you all have been really, really good at helping me pay for my addictive behavior. So here you go. And I think that's kind of been informative of things that have worked over here that I can do over there. And I think there are things over on Whatnot that, when I'll still host an auction, still occasionally sell on YouTube, um, that if I can figure out ways to technologically do some of these things, that I might try and do some of them to kind of replicate the same atmosphere and see if we can generate more people who are jumping across the apps. Because, like you said earlier, we are hitting that point in our lives where we are becoming a little bit of get off our lawn. So the more that we can do things to kind of get people to ebb and flow between the two, then I think it takes the sense of the community, and really eliminates more and more borders and creates more recognition of people, either buyer or seller,
Yeah.
across the different mediums, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I'm not gonna wait too much longer. The next couple of weeks, I'm pretty sure I've got a phone stand around here somewhere, some sort of clip stand. And I mean, if I've got a background here for YouTube shows that looks great, that I really enjoy, I think it really realistically, all I got to do is find a corner back here for a phone stand. And
I picked up this little thing on Amazon for like $19 that has got a microphone on it. You can spend a little bit more and get one that has a ring light on it. I've got one of those. So here's your behind the scenes tour now of what my video setup looks like. That I literally, on my desk right here, put my phone stand right here, the ring light right next to it, and then I've learned the right distance of where to set the stands, that I, just like you said, built. I hope I'm not giving y'all motion sickness. But right, I found things that I could put in the background, mostly the Ninja Turtle van. I can hide there because my kids want to touch it, but it's got stuff on top of it, and it's stable as hell for me to be able to, put some books up against if, my stand gets grumpy or I don't have the angle right, and that people will see those things. And in addition to being solid things, it does give that little bit of a story of me and the things that I'm into, right? That there
Yeah.
is the turtle van. I've got the dude and Donnie. There's some Gambit, right? So the first time I see your setup, if it's not just wall to wall saga number 1 9.8s, then I'm gonna find where you live and punch you and be like, no, respect the brand.
Right.
But that's the other thing that I like is that everything else that you get into, like I was terrified of the first couple of times that I thought about recording YouTube content, because it's like everybody says to do it right, you need this camera, this lighting, this. Nah, I got a phone, right? I don't have to have that extra lighting, but I'll use it. That boom, I can set it up. The technological barrier to entry is so low
Yeah.
that if I fail, okay, you just hear my boring voice. You don't look at my ugly face for this.
Yeah. He says, I need to copy that idea with the TV. And House of L says, what about slabs? Slabs too. I saw these guys putting slabs on the for sale section of a live auction. So you didn't even have to wait for the slabs to show up. You can go right to their little tab in the bottom right corner and look them up, and you could have purchased them right there and then.
Yeah. And I think I've only got, each week I've done 2 or 3. And I've tried to space those out a little bit, that if I had a bunch, I would have no problem going back to back to back to back to back. But I've been able, luckily enough, to be, if I go for 2 hours or 90 minutes, right, then I can do one every 30 minutes. And that keeps people in and engaged, or gives them kind of a time frame of when to go in, and when they can come check back things out. So I think in 3 weeks I have sold all the slabs that I put up. That it took 2 auctions for one to go up, because I had a remarked Lethal Protectors number 4, and I probably had it priced too high in my brain the first auction. Kind of looked at some counter offers and things like that, started it a little bit lower, but then in that second week I had the right person in the audience who that was a book that they wanted, and it gave, sure, I didn't sell it week 1, but week 2 it was there. They, and we are all short attention span. We know what we want. So if I can see what to buy in that auction, then put it in there. So that list is, I think, the key to success versus failure. I know one of the things that people are pushing for, because, you, like we got the sausagey fingers. I know that I could take all of that information and put it into a CSV file. Like, you give me the template to download from Excel, I'll put in all the information, and I can do it in 15% of the time it takes me to do it on the phone, and I could get it up there. So I know there are a bunch of people pushing for that, because I'll have 60 to 100 items up every week. There are people who will have 500 or 1,000. So how they can do all that, I have no idea.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a ton. I'm looking forward to trying it out, at least for a few times. I don't think I buy and move enough comic books that I could do something like multiple times a week and have hundreds of items.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that, but I could see myself doing it a couple times a month, maybe once a week.
Yeah. And that's where Chancellor was like, you want to try and go live a bunch. And I was like, oh, I ain't got time for that. Like, I got kids. I got to, do everything on my channel over here. I got to find time to get AP trained for a new class. Like, I got to, while I'm on summer break and I'm a little bit freer, I'm still busy as hell. So I can't commit to, being a full-time seller. But I get enough mystery boxes. I have enough random things where, you walk up and you see a wall book that's cheaper than you think it should be, or you
Yeah.
find that good deal and you just grab it. That, I think I can sustain the schedule that I'm going to try and do. I go Thursdays at 8:30 Central. That I can do that weekly. And my goal, especially once I get back into the real school year, is to go for 90 minutes to 2 hours. So I know that I've got 60 things that I could throw up any given week, and then use some of that extra um, income to snipe books on eBay, to buy an extra mystery box from somebody here in the community, right? That I can take some of those risks to see then if the reward pays off.
Yeah.
And then, I do the same thing with Funko Pops. That, what you see on the shelf behind me are the lines that I really care about. In this closet are the lines that I care about but don't have room to display them. And in the storage room over there is all of the shit that I pull out of mystery boxes where I'm like, that's kind of dope, but I don't collect it. So, like, I on a whim decided I was going to go live on Saturday night for a pop auction, found 60 to offload, and I think sold all but 5 of them. So it's like I can set this up where if I go weekly on comics and every other week with pops, that, is it exhausting to do that a little bit? Yeah. Does it suck to pack those things? Yeah. But happy wife, happy life. I am, decluttering things down and only, focusing on the things that I care about for the PC.
Right.
And then I can take some risks, or I can finally buy my first big boy banger book, as Biggie would put it, or maybe I'll finally send my Saga #1 that still roughly smells like barbecue sauce to get slabbed.
So
It's weird. Like, I opened that package when I got it like 6 months ago, and I was like, this smells like my people, like my homeland of Kansas City barbecue, because I didn't pay attention where it was shipped from, and it came from Kansas City, Missouri, and I was like, I bet this dude lives like above a smokehouse, because that's how rich it was, and it eventually faded from like the packing, but the mylar, just you hit the nose just right, and you get little bits of hickory or cherry wood.
Oh boy.
Rumbly McCumbly.
That's an awesome story. I can't thank you enough for your time, man. For a few questions and just hearing your experiences on whatnot. I'm pretty excited. I did the application for the live streaming. Now at some point I've already been setting up for auction. So now I've got a couple of boxes of books that are already ready to go. So now it's just about setting up the phone and setting up the camera. So I'm really kind of looking forward to trying that out.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can find what this thing was called to send it to you. But I think that was a safe investment. Um, I definitely think it's a good time to jump in because it's a different medium and people are excited about it.
Yep.
And especially as like people who watch your stuff all the time know what you're into, know what you're about. I eked into one of your step auctions and was like, Andy is selling a book that he kind of likes. And then I know that you have like 78,000 copies of it now. Right. But I know what it's like to do those kinds of things. So I think once you've established a presence, then, people will come follow the Pied Piper anywhere. And that's probably a bad analogy because didn't he end up killing like the mice or something like that? But you know what I mean, in a good way. A
Yeah.
good Pied Piper of indie comics and The Punisher and Saga and Dope Beard Game.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun experiment, a fun experience. I'll talk with a couple other people yet, but dude, yeah, once again, I can't thank you enough. This is like normally Monday nights. I've been going for 20-minute episodes or something like this, or 30-minute unboxing. It's time to get back into having fun with some long form content and chopping things down to
Yeah.
make things more digestible later on in uploading. And because I really kind of miss doing like a weekly show.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I don't know if it's gonna be Monday or whatever, but this just seemed like, hey, I'm already doing Mondays. I'm freer on Mondays. Let me just try this out and then work to come up with some other segments. But while closing out this show, man, what's new with you? What do you have going on, and where can people find you?
So you can check me out all over the place. Comic Book Poser on YouTube, Comic Book Poser with underscores on Instagram, comicbookposer.com is my website where I do previews of any independent publisher who's kind enough to put me on their press list. I drop content almost every day. Normally, Monday and Tuesday are my weekly rankings from the week before and my pull list. I got my book so late in the week last week just because of chaos and my car engine catching on fire that I've only read like 6 books from last week. So I'm looking forward to sitting down here in a bit once I get my husbandly chores done to finish reading stuff. Wednesday through Friday will be a mixture of unboxings and random things that I have no problem exploiting my children for clickbait. That normally you'll definitely see a video with 1 to all 3 of them and me on Friday doing whatever. Thursday nights at 8:30 Central, I go live on Whatnot. And I, like Andy, am in the midst of kind of retooling some stuff that I want to play with, right? That as much as I love doing some unboxings because I like the surprise, I want to go back to some of the stuff that I tried doing when I had more free time at the beginning of COVID, right? That I want to take, do some motion capture reviews of comics and that kind of stuff to bring some kind of more cinematic element to it. Although I know my editing capabilities on my videos are shit because I'm not Nick from Two Brothers, who is going to win an Oscar for the things that he has done.
I swear at this
excited.
I swear by this point they both quit their jobs. They just didn't tell anybody, and all they're doing is comic book content because they're killing it.
Yeah. I mean, is there anybody other than Nick who can get you excited about seeing a box cutter slowly and surgically cut through tape to some kind of epic soundtrack? Like, the first time I saw that, I was like, I am super depressed that I am that excited about what I just saw, but he made it that epic of an immersive experience. So I'm all over the place now that school is out. I can now watch more people's content on the daily basis. So I like Andy have a to watch list that is hundreds of videos long. Where Gem Mint has absolutely killed it, especially once he released that video where he's like, I've hit that point where I can now quit my job in 3 months and do this all the time. It's like, you are living the dream.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm all over the place. If you like the kinds of things that I'm into, great. If there are things that you want to see me do, like I have a crazy love, like Andy, for all things indie. That's where I spend most of my time and focus. So if there are things that you want to see me talk about, books you want to get me into, I love doing interviews, and I've now got the time to try and do that kind of stuff again. So if there are things that you want to know what my lispy hot takes are on that, then I'll give it a go. And
we need to get Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples in a live interview when Saga comes back.
Yeah, that we'll both be like, do it.
Yeah.
Or I'll just, I'll set up something to just bomb. They're both on Instagram and only one of them's on Twitter. Like every day, like, is Saga coming back? Is Saga coming back?
They're getting bombed constantly, and there's at least every time I see Brian K. Vaughan post on Instagram, there's at least 4 or 5 comments about when is it coming back at a minimum.
I still remember the day that Solid Blood came out, because it was that secret Image drop, and everybody's like, Image has got a secret book coming out. And there were, a good handful of people like, do we get number 55?
I was completely convinced that this was a very real possibility that could be 55 coming. And then once I got into the LCS and I saw the guys look at me as I was walking through the door, and they're like, it was like I was approaching a funeral service.
You had to go sit in your car for like 5 minutes and listen to Air Supply and cry it off like, okay, I can get my 12 copies of Once and Future now.
Yeah.
I'm so envious of your Once and Future collection.
I just stuck with it. And when a lot of people didn't, I just continued to stick with it. And I'm probably 2 books behind on reading that, so I am going to get caught up here soon. But
I love it. That if you loved the first arc, then you're going to like what's happening now, because it got back into what they're doing with the Arthurian legend. That as much as I loved Beowulf and Grendel showing up, not Grendel, the bad guy from Beowulf, like, as much as I love them dipping into other literature that makes me glad that I paid attention in lit class here or there, where it's like, ooh, I got that reference. That's a book that I'm excited about. But yeah, that's what I'm about. I'm a big fan. Andy and I love each other. That I think this is the first time that we have been on a stream together.
Yeah.
But we have quite the broy mutual admiration society when we can catch up each other's stuff, because there will be a day where, like, I'll comment on 7 or 8 of Andy's videos in a row, and then a week later it's like, okay, he got to the poser point in his playlist. So I like that we operate in very similar ways of, like, we're going to watch everything. We're going to show everybody the same level of love that we get. Just time is linear, and we busy.
Yep, absolutely. But man, I can't thank you again enough for just popping in for a quick little bit tonight. I'm excited to try out Whatnot, and we'll close it out right now because I haven't gone this long live in a while. But man, if everybody's here watching this, they know where to find me. So I've got nothing to close out. So I'm gonna go peace out. I'm gonna go pinkies out. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side for the next video. Remember, the most important part: all day, every week. Cue it up.
Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes.
I love gold. Excuse me while I change. The roller boogie has made me sweaty. Yeah, sweaty.
I have a package for you.